Well, it's 2024, and well, food now indicates your wealth. It's no secret that food prices are out of control. And with social media, it's pretty easy to find consumer frustrations on TikTok or Instagram. We've had fashion, cars, or houses always being a sign of wealth. But get ready for food to be that newest indicator. From social media influencers to mega celebrities like Kim Kardashian, food is quickly becoming a symbol of wealth in Western society. Millennials and Gen Z are starting to take notice. Before we dive any further, be sure to hit that like button and click that subscribe button. It really helps our channel out and it keeps you informed. Frankly, I've noticed it hurts every time I go to the grocery store. I see that grand total and I'm like, this is crazy. You know, this is a lot of money just to buy your normal produce, meat, among a few snacks here and there. But the total is well over $100 for the week. I mean, we were promised that grocery and food prices would stabilize after the pandemic was over. And well, they've only increased. Food inflation has fallen way lower than many expert economists had predicted. Grocery prices have shot up over 21% since the beginning of 2021, which is way higher than the overall 18% inflation rate during that period. Although there's been a slight slowdown in the rate of price hikes for food lately, the cost of many essential items at the grocery store still is climbing. According to experts, it doesn't look like relief for consumers is coming anytime soon. And you won't believe what Gen Z and millennials are splurging on. It's not just fancy restaurants or luxury vacations anymore. According to a McKinsey report, that's one of the largest consulting firms in the world. In February, groceries were now topping the list for younger folks. They surveyed around 4,000 people across different generations, from baby boomers to Gen Zers, about what exactly they plan on splurging this year. And guess what? Millennials and Gen Zers were going all in on groceries, putting them ahead of restaurants, bars, travel, beauty products, clothes, and even fitness. And it's not just about regular grocery shopping anymore. With millennials becoming parents, they're spending big, not just on themselves, but on their partners and their kids. It's a huge shift from a few years back when older generations like baby boomers and Gen Xers were the ones that were dropping all that cash on those groceries. Meanwhile, Gen Zers are all about those high quality snacks and drinks, which can really add up a lot of money in that checkout lane. This 23-year-old from this survey noted that they dish out around $130 every week and a half on groceries. They buy fancy sodas, random Trader Joe's snacks, and even protein bars, which makes a huge chunk of that bill. And this is what a respondent from Arizona had to say.
I plan to splurge on myself every now and then. Some of the things I'm most excited to buy are new makeup, new clothes heading into the new season, and even being able to travel to try new foods. I definitely think it's important to have a healthy balance, and splurging helps to enjoy life a lot more.
I mean, who couldn't agree with that? I remember I did a business project a few years ago. It was for a snack company, and they told us their biggest market growth generation was Gen Z. No surprise. So to put simply, Gen Z is spending more money on snacks like Doritos and Fritos and all those great things, Cheez-Its. And yeah, packaged goods like chips and all those snacks, they can be pretty pricey. Way more pricey than carrots. I can't be saying much because I do love me some Doritos. Now, I do find this pretty interesting considering that Gen Z is turning into a generation of snackers, not diners. Even then, they still have high grocery bills. It's a weird dilemma. And while we're on the topic of spending money on snacks or fancy drinks, Liquid Death. It's a canned water brand that's been making huge waves over the past few years. It has a huge market valuation around $1.4 billion. So Liquid Death, investors are saying that its success lies in the appeal to younger generations who are all about disrupting the boring food and beverage scene. Put simply, they want to make water cool, and Gen Zers are very interested in that. But it's not all fun and games at the grocery store. Everyone, regardless of age, is feeling the squeeze of inflation. According to a report from Moody's, the average American household will need to shell out an extra $445 each month just to buy the same stuff they did a year ago. And here's my take on this. My opinion is that this is extremely wrong that researchers are saying that food is a luxury good. Food is not a luxury good. Are you kidding me? It's a necessity. If you don't have food, then, I can see how the occasional Starbucks or Red Bull or Dorito bag is a luxury, but Gen Zers are not couch potatoes. No, Gen Zers are actually interested in buying decent food, and given everything we know about processed foods, Gen Z wants to be able to eat a decent, healthy diet, with the exception of those snacks. The cards that millennials and Gen Z were dealt just make it to where that splurging on food, it just means that you're able to live in a first world country. So if many people don't have enough to go on vacation, no money to buy a car, then the next best thing to do is, buy some healthy, fancy food. And here's what a person on Reddit had to say.
Groceries are ridiculously expensive, but it's something I'm willing to pay, which I recognize is part of the issue here. Because cooking well-made meals with fresh ingredients is important to me. It's also important to teach my children how to eat well for their health. It doesn't have to be extravagant or take an hour to make a tasty meal that is also healthy.
It's almost gotten to the point that takeout or delivery is actually cheaper than buying a full course, healthy meal. I never would have thought that fresh produce would be such a hot commodity. It should be a necessity for everyone, right? Now, are we going back to the Middle Ages when produce used to be a sign of wealth and prosperity among the ultra-rich elite? Now, here's a quick history lesson here. Food scarcity and limited agricultural productivity meant that certain types of food, such as meat, spices, and exotic fruits, like pineapples, were expensive and considered to be luxury items, accessible only to the wealthy elite, especially in times of famine and war, which at those times was all the time. In famous artwork, a table filled with food was a symbol of wealthy yet prosperous people. Painters filling a table or gathering with food meant that the subjects were of high class. Take a look at this painting, The Banquet of the Officers of the St. George Civic Guard Company by Franz Hals. This painting was from the 17th century. It portrays a group of officers from St. George Civic Guard Company enjoying a lavish banquet. The scene features an abundance of food and drink, including elaborate dishes and wine, symbolizing the wealth and the status of the officers. It meant that they had high social class. And now it may seem that we're headed in that way once again, where food has become such a luxury good or status symbol, if you will, that we're going to start seeing this a lot more often. Now, scrolling through TikTok, I came across a very interesting creator here who had very good insight on this topic. Here's this video.
Okay, first, I think that we really going to be seeing a lot of food in advertising and in media. Like, food is now a luxury category because it is so expensive. So think, instead of like flowers on a table, I think we're going to start seeing food. Screams wealth and excess wealth more than having an excess of food that you are not going to even eat, that is particularly off season, and it is now just tablescape.
So yeah, she has a great point here. I guess I never really thought that food would be a luxury good, but here we are. I think this is a huge eye-opening thing for consumers everywhere. She then makes another video explaining how an excess of food is nothing but a sign of excess wealth. Keep in mind, no one is actually going to eat this food. It's almost become a sort of decorative item. She explains how this Kim Kardashian social media post with these grapes truly signifies that food wealth is now becoming a more mainstream principle. And we're seeing more and more of this on social media posts by famous celebrities just flaunting their food across the tables. Again, this food is not being eaten. It's like for decorative purposes. An even more obvious example may be the 2024 Grammys that was held earlier this year. They had a huge charcuterie board displayed at each table. I would put money that a good bit of that food probably had to go to waste. And those boards, they're not cheap. They can rack up hundreds of dollars there. Now, many people will point to corporate greed as being a cause of such high prices. Other people might even point the finger at the government. Either way, food prices are not going down anytime soon. A survey by Yahoo Finance in November 2023, they revealed that 2/3 of voters feel the pinch of inflation most acutely when they see those higher food prices. That's a whopping 50 percentage points higher than any other expense category, like gas, transportation, or housing. And let me tell you, it's not just the cost of groceries that's concerning. Rising food prices affect practically every household in the country, especially low-income Americans who already spend around 30% of their income on food. They're definitely feeling the weight of these price hikes even more. Now, why are food prices skyrocketing? Well, it's a combination of factors here. So anything from supply chain issues to the smallest cattle inventory in 73 years, and avian flu outbreak hitting poultry supply hard everywhere across the country, and a global grain deficit fueled by the Ukraine war. Now, another thing that could be an influence is food service workers' wages have gone up over the past few years here, which means businesses are now passing those costs to the consumers, which is us. Now, sure, some of these problems might be starting to ease up, but don't expect relief to be knocking at your door anytime soon. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell even said that in a recent interview that we might be stuck with these high food prices unless there's a major recession, and no one wants that. Now, let's talk numbers for a sec here. While inflation has dropped from its peak from 9.1%, which was in June of 2022, it's still sitting above the Federal Reserve's 2% annual target. And get this, compared to January 2021, just before inflation madness kicked in, those prices have shot up a staggering 17.6%, according to new calculations from Moody's Analytics. The average US household had to fork over an extra $211 a month in December just to buy the same stuff that they did a year ago, all because of this high inflation. So yeah, overall, we're in pretty weird times here. People are going to be using grapes on the diner table as a new form of gold silverware. But let me know what you think about this crazy trend. Are you feeling the squeeze of these grocery prices or any other thing that inflation is causing? Let me know in the comment section below. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out and it really helps grow the channel. And like always, stay informed out there.